Welcome to Come Follow Me with Coco and Polly.
You know, today we'd like to talk to you about a story from the pioneer days. Grandma Polly, do you remember the story of Orderville?
I've even been to Orderville.
You have?
I have.
Tell us a little bit about Orderville.
Well, when the early saints learned about the importance of living the United Order, it was called. Do you know what that was, the United Order?
Isn't that where they got together and they just shared everything?
They shared everything.
Nobody had anything more than another person. They just shared everything.
Yeah. They gave everything they had, and then everyone shared, and everyone was the same, equal. And so they created this city, and they called it Orderville. There were about 800 people living there, and they had everything in common, meaning they all ate together, and they all had the same amount of clothes, and they all had everything that they needed, and
they even had the same kind of clothes, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
In fact, maybe that was what caused the problem.
That was a problem. What do you think if you all wore the very same clothes?
Well, you know, one of the interesting things about Orderville is that the people who settled it, many of them came from circumstances where they were very, very poor. They hardly had anything at all. So to have a chance to share and to work together was very special to them until something happened.
First, let me say that they had really, really nothing. And this United Order that they set up made it so that they were actually prospering. But they were all wearing the same clothes, eating the same food. And at first, they were so grateful to have clothes and food and homes. They were so grateful.
Well, that's really a good point. I think they were very, very happy.
They were very happy. And there was a lot of love in their community.
But here's what happened.
One day, one of the teenage boys recognized that the people in nearby cities were all wearing the latest fashion.
So he came up with a plan to buy clothes like the other boys had in that other town, didn't he?
He was pretty creative. He actually, they would shear lambs and save the wool. Well, he couldn't steal that money, but what he did is he kept the little lambs' tails and cut the wool off the little lamb's tails. And it took until he finally got a bag of wool that he had collected himself, and he went to the big city and bought a new pair of stylish pants.
Better than all the other boys, all the other kids in the town of Orderville. And when he came back to Orderville, people looked at him and they wondered, where did he get the money to buy pants like that? And it caused a problem.
Well, so the leaders of the community had him come in and explain what had happened, and they said, well, actually, we all own those pants, so you'll need to turn those pants in. And they would cut a pattern. They would take those pants apart, cut a pattern from them, and create stylish pants for everyone.
So they did that. They thought, okay, it's important for these boys to have stylish pants, so they made pants for everybody, but there was one little problem.
Nobody could have new pants until their old ones wore out.
So they came up with a solution to that. Here's what they did. The boys, you know what this is, you guys?
This is a grindstone.
This is a grindstone. It's used to sharpen knives and axes and things like that. Well, the boys would come along and they'd put their seats to the grindstone, and it would wear their pants out, and then they'd turn them in.
They'd say, our pants are all worn out. We need these neat, new, stylish pants. And the leaders said, why would your pants wear out in the seat? You must be sitting down too much.
Must be. Well, that was the beginning of the end. You see, at first they were very grateful for all the things that they had. Even though they were all in common and they shared the same kinds of things, they were just grateful for that which they had. But then they started comparing themselves to what other people had, and they saw that Other people had fancier clothes and fancier shoes and fancier horses and all those kinds of things. And when that feeling of comparison came in, they stopped being grateful for what they had. Then what happened?
They stopped being grateful, and they also stopped having love for each other because they were no longer grateful.
Well, and that was the beginning of the end for the community of Orderville. What once had been a very happy time when everybody shared everything they had became a time of sadness and probably even meanness because they started to compare and they stopped feeling grateful, as Grandma Polly said. So our invitation to you is to be grateful. Don't worry about what other people have. Count the many blessings that you have. Just like the song says, count them one by one. And when we're grateful, then what happens?
Well, when we're grateful, then we feel love for each other, and we feel love in our hearts, and we're happier, and we feel closer to our Heavenly Father. And in your prayers, too, we've talked about that in the past, to be sure to show gratitude and thank Heavenly Father for all of your blessings. Now, we've been in Come Follow Me. We've just finished studying 4th Nephi, when they were a happier people than ever had been before. So maybe as a family, you can discuss how this principle of gratitude you can talk about it as you study 4th Nephi and see how it fits in to why they were happy.
Look for the blessings, and remember, don't put your seat to the grindstone. We love you.
We love you.